Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check, sound check. Well, folks, if you can hear me, I sure can't hear me, so I am very puzzled. Sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check. Holy smokes, what is going on today? Sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check. There we go. We got confirmation. Must have a bug in one of my apps still. Welcome to TDD.Academy. I'm your host, Lancer Kind, and I'm here with solopreneur, David. David, what's going on, man? For those of you who didn't see the last show, David popped in, gave us some wisdom. He called it in though, folks. He didn't get on video, so who knows what he's really up to. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm at a slight disadvantage. I'm trying to get my trackpad. So remember the last show I said, hey, that might be the last show for the year because my laptop's going to be out in the shop getting repaired. But hey, boom, boom, boom. Apple turned it around in like a week, shipped it out, shipped it back, all done. I was pretty amazed. And so I started the show. You might have noticed the show is like, it's a little late to be starting the show now. It's like 3:42 in my time zone. Well, I tried to launch it with the M1. I didn't do a lot of testing. Things looked good until I hit the stream button. I didn't do a test stream. I just tried that the app worked. And hit the stream button and I got an error message. So at that point I had to go quickly unpack this my freshly repaired laptop and get it on the table here so we could do a show. But my trackpad is not working, so I may do it with not a helpful trackpad. 1 second here. Let me see if I can get it to sync. It's a magic trackpad after all. I expect magic here. Come on, connect. Really a bizarre situation. It's the same trackpad. Apparently my trackpad has to since it was using the other Mac, it must have to like rejigger itself. I'm gonna remove it and re-add it. And see what happens. Come on, trackpad. It'd be nice to not have to work awkwardly while I'm doing some coding. But I think it's going to be awkward. Oh, yeah, there's the business. This is the first generation Magic Trackpad, so it's not quite as magical as the latest generation. Don't know if that makes a difference, but it's connecting. And still connecting. Come on. Work with me here. Could not connect. Now, I didn't want to see that. Let's try it one more time. Come on, you. You want to do this. This will be a lot easier on my body. I'm sure everybody else's computers work perfectly. Well, this one's been pretty rock solid. What happened is I had a bad port. It was not charging itself all the time because one of the ports bad and maybe it was causing other problems too, who knows. Well, I'm done trying to get that to work. We will do the show the awkward way. Closing this dialogue. Oh, it's not going to close. All right, let's do this coding thing. All right, last show, you may have noticed, wow, let me adjust my tables. I've got a new desk setting too, and I probably don't want it this way. Ah, that's much better. In the last show, we added more features. We're always adding more features. Every show we add tests, we add features. It's kind of how it works. That's the test-driven way. And we decided we're going to let people delete. You're going, what? Why'd you think of that so late? We didn't think of that late at all. We were adding features for the adding words. Now we're going to delete characters. And let's run the unit tests. Remind ourselves how the app works. Zoom, zoom, zoom. The tests are down right beneath me. That's why I'm missing this body part. It's got to have the room space for the tests. And Gradle. Gradle must have had some. There it goes. Boom, boom, boom. 25 tests, 20 milliseconds. Well, 21 tests, 4 ignored. That large list of ignored I had there for a while is almost gone. You could probably look at those. On text change deleting. Yeah, after text change, mask is faded. Those are stories we are not going to be working on today. That's about color. On text change when adding dash doesn't recurse. That test makes me nervous. That we probably ought to get that one back in there. How we will test that is doing a little defect injection. See if that test is still necessary. If another test covers it, then that's good enough for me. But before we get down there, let's run this baby. Yes, you won't connect to my trackpad. I don't know why you hate me today. I've discovered that trackpad connection, at least on the magic trackpad 1, isn't so cut and dry. Anyways, while it's trying to figure that out, let's see what kind of functionality we got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, look at that. Nice. Now, deletion. Crash. All right, so we got some work to do. In the last show, we added a little bit of functionality. Let's see if that functionality works. Let's launch it again. And we said, can we add, if I recall right, we just add one letter, one number. See, the mask is updated appropriately. We can delete it, and the mask is updated appropriately. Wow, if it only did that for everything, we'd be done, right? Well, let's try 2 numbers. 1, 2. Oh, notice. Interesting. The cursor's in the wrong spot. And the insertion point's on the wrong side. Oh, excuse me. So this might be a scenario where you delete and then add again. There might be something messed up. Let's try launching this app again. One and delete. Oh, okay, cool. The cursor's in the right spot. It's to the left of the X. Everything's beautiful on delete. However, when I hit add one more, for some reason it's not acting the same as it did when, whoops, I'm not even showing my code. I am so sorry. Oh no, that's right. I'm showing my simulator. Freaking me out there for a second. Yeah, so for some reason it's not, the cursor's in the wrong spot. When I add a number, after I delete it, and then add a number, the cursor's in the wrong spot. The cursor should not be in position 0. It starts at 0. All right, so let's add another test that says, hey, cursor should not be in position 0 in that situation. Before I go into that, I want to check out one more thing. I just want to observe something. Now notice, upon very initial launching, everything works great, right? I type in one number, the cursor goes to the right like it's supposed to. So probably what's happening is we're getting stuck in delete mode or something, and our app that we are writing is messing with the cursor and incorrectly. Because in this scenario, when we're just typing it out, it works correctly because it's just following the natural order of how text boxes work. But once we hit delete, we've changed mode, I recall this, and I think we set a Boolean somewhere, and now we're ready to start adding again, but we're probably not shifting back and adding. So that's probably the problem. See, there it is. This is what developers do. We think about the code in our head because we looked at it a week ago, and we try to rationalize what we think the code is. But it's honestly, we've got to go get a look at the code now, see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna leave alone the ignored test. That's boring stuff. We can fix that later. I think those of you who came on the show, you want to see some action. And by the way, I am on LinkedIn, so if you want to chat with me, I think I'm on LinkedIn. Right, so I'm gonna leave alone. Wow, here I am on LinkedIn. That's cool. I wonder why that audio wasn't kicking in about, 5 minutes ago when I was doing my sound check. Looks like I'm running my mic hot too. Let me turn that down a little bit. And you might be hearing my fans. All right, yeah, quick comment about the M1. I really enjoyed it. It's been really revolutionary thing for me. I've driven an hour using GarageBand, and the battery is at 100% still. At one time, another hour using GarageBand, it only reduced by 2%. So it was at 98% for an hour messing around with a digital audio workstation that uses a lot of power normally. So yeah, it's a huge thing. Apple Silicon's way ahead of this Intel device I'm using today. I want to do some more tests to see how fast it'll build software. I was hoping to use it on the show today, but I ran into that issue with OBS. Unfortunately, there's no native build for OBS, like publicly available. You have to build it yourself, DIY. Do it yourself. Okay, so anyways, we got a problem with our text box. If you want me to see me speculate a little more, remember this. No, it doesn't matter. Don't need to speculate. Let's write a test. I was going to share some knowledge, but it'll slow us down. All right. User enters single digit, then deletes. So guess what? I discovered another scenario that has a bug. The user enters a single digit, then deletes, then... What'd you say, David? You're right. Then we do an add. Okay? So it's going to be a lot like this test. And sadly, I'm doing copy-paste stuff again. Let's see here. That means our code probably needs to be refactored. Quickly, let me look at this for a second. So we're doing arrange, user types on phone, and we do delete, and we do some insertion, and we check the mask, yada yada, and we check the position, that last line 246. Okay, so we're gonna add a new scenario here. That's a lot like that one. And user enters single digit, then deletes. Make sure I put some underbars in to make it easier to read. Probably. Then deletes. Then adds. Then enters. Okay. Don't need that anymore because we know how do we work with delete. I didn't get my trackpad working. Sorry, I'm trying to use my trackpad. It's so sad. It pumps out the shoulder when I have to use the laptop trackpad when it's up higher. Okay, notice that the line below cursor seems to immediately move the cursor for delete. I'm trying to understand so you leave comments, now I have to read it. Before text change. Okay, so it moved the cursor on the before text change. All right. Okay. And then there's act. Now that's going to become part of the arrange, because that's part of deleting. And now it's deleted. I'm going to have to update these asserts in a moment. In case anybody's scared, I'll do this. So it's deleted. Now we're going to add another digit, right? How do we add another digit? Types on phone, and the text watcher events are called automatically. And the user is going to type, let's see, cursor position before user input is going to be 0. And what I'm entering in is a number 1 again. Okay. Now after all that happens, we expect there to be that situation. And we expect the assert to be position 1. This one should pass. This one will not. Let's see. Let's let the computer tell us if we got that right. So we're moving this configuration up above me to run all tests. I'm gonna hit the play button above me like a VCR. Nobody knows what the heck a VCR is anymore. Sorry, my apologies for those of you who are pre-Gen Xers. Yeah, no, I'm losing credibility left and right with that comment. And let's pretend it's a MP3 player. Okay, what's going on? Oh, single quotes for characters, my friends. Single quotes for characters. One test failed. Who called it? Yeah, I hope you called it as well. We're being test driven. Test is failing, and it says, just like I said, right? The assertion that failed is, so if I double click on the test that failed, this line down below here, it then shows, it moves the cursor, whoops, over there to the assertion that failed. So it passed the mask, it failed on assert equals. It's telling me, it's calling it. The test is calling it. Now it's going to say, hey bro, fix this baby. All right, now, how are we going to fix it? Let's go check out, because I was blathering a little moment ago about how it probably is a modal problem. We're probably still in delete mode or something. Before text changed, we have, let me take a look at this for a second. See this user input case? We have delete and we have new character. So that is the deal there. Hang on a second, I'm gonna look at my CPU speed. Yeah, a lot busier on the Intel Mac. I really wish I could get that baby. I have Carbonite running. We don't need that. We don't need that bugger running. I like Carbonite, but I don't like Carbonite. Its graphical user interface on the Mac depends on the release. It works beautiful. Lately, it's been a stinker. I don't want it backing up my calendaring. That's just a waste of space. And it goes in there and it starts backing up my calendar. And even though I clicked on it and said, don't do this, it just doesn't listen to me. So, Carbonite, you need to work on some test automation to keep that from happening, bro. Alrighty then. I have something commented out here too. That's suspicious, right? I probably left it. That was a note from the last show saying, oh, better handle this case. All right, so think about it. What's going to happen? Okay, so everything works beautifully when we delete, and then it's when we add the next new character that's where the things go sideways. So that means that before text change is called, right? It passes in that character sequence. And it should be going like, it's going to check for reentry, like, hey, you better not be reentering. And you better not be going beyond the boundaries of the, I should probably refactor that. Going beyond the boundaries. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick refactoring. You should say, oh no, don't refactor while you're changing your functionality. I'm not changing my functionality, I just got my test failing, so I haven't changed anything yet. It's correct. You want to test one thing at a time. So I'm going to extract this baby right now. Function. And we're going to call this, the reentry guard is checking to see if we're already adding to the mask, or beyond boundary, beyond hitting text box boundary. text box boundary. I think that's it. That's it, or limit, input limit. Just return. Okay. And that's going to be a Boolean. Should be able to handle that. Yep, Boolean. Hit OK. Yeah, there's another one here too. Okay, nice. Used it functionally. It said, hey, I'm going to make a function alias or whatever, and oh, this is weird syntax, I just swear. And it's equal to this line. So it's a one-line function. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I can work with it, but it looks a little weird. Equals, double equals. That's fine. If I'm too confused, I could probably do this. Like that. Nope, can't do that. Sorry, folks. I'm not super on to the. That doesn't like that. The Kotlin syntax. Yeah, that takes years of using the same platform before you get the syntax really ingrained. Okay, so that baby is there. I'm going to run all my tests and observe. One test will fail. Same one. Okay, still true. One test failed right here. Oh, it's actually a little bit more that way. Right there. One test failed. Okay, got it. Now, before text changed, text box, input limit, return. Okay, now, I'm assuming none of those are going to be true in our case. Count of characters added greater than 0. Okay, where did that come from? Count of characters added is passed in. It'll be greater than 0. It should be that one character. And it's going to go in here and it's going to, oh, user cursor is going to be incremented. You know what? After all that deleting, did we actually zero that baby out? I don't know. Can't tell right now. So that's a possible problem. I don't know if that's causing this problem, but that seems suspicious. I have this here saying like user input case equals new character. Oh yeah. All right. So this is saying, you know, this code was coming out probably because the developer said, oh, you need to put this line in there. And then the test driver said, oh, I don't know that you need to put this in there. Logically, yes, it looks like it should be in there, but let's wait till a test fails and forces us to. So this would change the mode. This would change the user input case to entry to handle add, right? Otherwise, it still thinks we're in delete. That goes back to that statement I was saying earlier. I said, I wonder if it's stuck in a mode, because that mode of delete makes us move the cursor to the left of input. Sorry, I keep trying to watch. Magic trackpad! Stop it. I have to use this other trackpad that's on the map. All right, so one possibility is if I delete this line, it can magically work. I have no idea. Let's try it. And if it does, we are done. It's called a quick experiment. So now I'm going to run the tests. It didn't. Okay. Not shocked by that, because I feel like there's a lot of possibilities. Like, I don't know that user cursor is going to be set to the right count after. I don't know that it handles that case right. I may have to dive into the debugger. Well, I think I'm about ready to do that, because I need to find out if user cursor is incorrect. I fear it is. Hold on a second. Let's think about this more. So this is before text change. So let's see. Let's imagine those two things are wrong, and go look at after text changed. All right. So app is adding a mask. That's not true right now. If user input is new character added, we don't know if that's correct or not. User adds a character in GUI, or it does the delete. So if a user adds, see right now we're having to choose too many guesses now because it could be add or delete. We don't know, we have to establish that before we go too far because I'm walking through the code trying to figure out what's going on. Code complexity is a little high here. But the code complexity is a little high, you have to use the debugger. And that's not a great thing, but I think it's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna walk into this baby. And, oops, stop using the wrong track there. I'll stop muttering that after eventually. Okay, so this is still commented out. So let's find out if we need it. All right, so we're gonna come in here and find out if we need that. So we're gonna run the test in debug mode. Right here. Right where we need to, which should be in here somewhere. Okay. It's when we do the next add. That's where we want to watch and see what happens. Debug. So I just run that one test in debug mode. I put the breakpoint where the event happens through the test. So we're debug driven. How do I say this? Yeah, debugger driven development right now, which isn't cool. We don't like it, but sometimes it happens. Maybe I use the debugger out of all these episodes maybe twice, 3 times. I don't know, folks. Not often. I'll go entire shows without using it. So we're going to go into it, step into, and we're going to learn what the states are. Okay, this part we're not in product code yet, so we're going to step. Types on phone, text insertion point. I don't care about that. We're too low level. All right, watcher before text change. Watcher before text change. So now it's going to call the phone code, the product code. So we're going to step in here. All right, now we're going to go see what our modes are, and then we'll know what the heck is going on. So first of all, the count of characters added should be greater than 0. It says right here, 1. Nice. Okay, what's this number? Right now, all right, user cursor is really set to 1. I bet it's going to change it to 2, which is going to be incorrect. So I probably have at least 2 bugs in here. Yikes. That we're discovering. And then user input case. How did I see that? If I hover over that. Right now it's set to delete. So I know that this line above here needs to be turned on because right now it says it's delete. And it should not. It should be set to new character. And I think the count will be wrong. I'll step over and see. Whoa. I don't think it's smart enough to pick up my change. Okay, so user cursor set incorrectly. All right, so we've observed a couple things. 2 things. We learned that we have to set the input case because we're adding again, and we didn't detect that because that line wasn't in there. And all right, but that's not enough. Our user cursor is off too. It can't be set to 2. It should be at 1. That means the user typed 1 letter in. It shouldn't be at 0. It should be at 1. Not 2. I can't handle it. And before I go further, oops, get this thing here. I could say, Lance, why don't you just move your trackpad? Well, then I'll just be dragging my fingers over the table. Okay, so let's keep going though. I changed the code there, but it won't take effect right now. I want to see what this code looks like now with that bug. Step into. Okay, right now it says delete. I fixed that. So we're gonna have to rerun this. It's not gonna be helpful. I don't want to watch this other branch, which I know is the wrong branch. I'm puzzled because I'm trying to figure out how to fix the user input count too. That index is incorrect. It's left over from when doing deletion. So when I go in here and delete the character, safely pen mask onto N. Am I actually decrementing? It must be close though, because it, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to test this, and I'm not sure. There's a lot of functionality here. I might have to start building a new class to house it, because this is getting to be hard to test, right? Because this code's trying to get pretty big. Yeah. Okay, let me rerun the test. I'm thinking of time. Get overwhelmed if I go too far. Stop the test. Come back to the test code here. Functionally mutate properties. How do you use delete? Oh boy. Here it is. Enter third digit. Cursor jumps past. Apparently I had problems with that. Let's see those breakpoints. Enters 2 digits. Single digit, here's the one I want to run in debug mode again. Excuse me. Oh, Let's see here. All right, let's step into there. And now we're going to set our mode correctly, and we'll see a little bit better. We have at least another bug to fix, though. So import. Yeah. I don't care about that. I'll step into that. All right, before text change. Okay, so now, in the past it was delete, right? Because we deleted text, and then I hit a 1, and the mode should change to new character mode. See? New character mode. Now cursor's still incorrect. That problem I'm not sure how to fix yet, because so my expectation is cursor position should be at 0, and now it's going to get incremented to 1. But user cursor's off by 1 right now, and I don't know why. So that means there's probably a bug from deletion. So when we added the 1, because this test scenario is this, add a 1, then delete the 1, and add a 1 again. So we add 1, cursor position's 1. We delete it, we must not be decrementing it. And then we come back in here again after we add 1 again, and it still has some text. So we're gonna have to check out and see how delete works too, because that must be where the other bug is. Not cool. Let's see here. All right, cursor position isn't correct. We keep stepping out, and then we're gonna enter here and investigate. What I expect in here to do is to set the cursor position. I know the user index is in the wrong, set the wrong spot, so that's probably not why that might be the reason why it's not working. Let's find out. All right, this should be true. User adds a character. All right, so it's going to build a new mask. And the cursor position is incorrect too. Yeah. this can go away because I'm not using that as a cursor. Let's not worry about that yet. All right, so we're going to compute a mask. See, the mask is off because it should be x dash, should be xx dash, xx dash, xxx, and the mask is off because I didn't step in, so I don't know why. It's probably because of the cursor position. Let's go look. All right, mask before input. It says, oh, so it gets the mask before input. Let's back up here. The mask here, I'm not sure. So when I came in here, I don't know what my mask is when I started this function call. Can I restart it somehow? How fancy these things can be. Drop frame. Let's see if I can redo it. All right, mask to string right now. Look at this. It's dash xxx. Why would it be that? Yikes. Let me test out this drop frame. I'll try it again. See if it stays the same. Yeah, drop frame seems to be doing its job. Characters in the UI looks great, but its mask is bazonkers. And that's because it thinks I have two characters in there. XX. I might be wrong. Okay, mask is not correct. Let's see. We have something going on here with our state. Our state's not in good shape. And I could sit here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm manually testing because I'm running a debugger, and I'm noticing states in my class are not correct. I'm noticing that the mask isn't correct. I'm noticing user cursor is incorrect. And those are bad things. I already fixed user input case, but I have two other data points or pieces of data that are wrong. I'm trying to figure out how to resolve this without me manual testing with a debugger, which is unfortunately what a lot of developers do. And we don't want to keep doing that. That's silly. I mean, I could do that, but then there's no automated test to back me up. Now, of course, that I do have a failing automated test, and if I fix this correctly, then that failing automated test may actually start working correctly. It's just, it's behavior via side effect rather than direct causality. I'm not changing one thing and then checking it to see if it's correct. Now, there's some tricks to that. I could make these babies public, and then I could check them. I hate to make things too public because it creates another kind of complexity where people, my users of this class, will have to be exposed to more than they should be. Like, why should they care about the mask? But maybe I need a smaller class to manage mask and user cursor. Could be. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of a design strategy. So I could write unit tests directly or more directly against mask and user cursor rather than testing indirectly. I can accept that and go, but it's at 4:22. We gotta figure it out soon here. Okay, because the show will be over and I want it to be done with something when I get the show over. Well, all of this code in here maybe could be operated via a class. You know, this code in here. And that code could manage the cursor state, etc., and then I could test it. That might be the way to be. The other code, let's see, that's an adds a character. That was a private too. User deletes a character, private. User adds a character, private. Like, look at how many privates we have. I don't know what this is. That's for color. I'm going to get there, get back to that. Text watcher interfacing, that's something I need. All right, one private, another private, another private. You can see that this class is starting to blow up a little bit. Private, a lot of privates, private. The override's fine. Before text changed, we have more. Okay, cool. Selection. So, what am I going to do today's show? If I do this refactoring, I probably won't have time to finish this functionality. If I finish this functionality, I'll just be living with code that's hard to work with. So I got to do the refactoring, folks. That's what all my gut says. All my guts, plural. I have more than one stomach, you know, like a cow. Bovine developer. That's your kind, bovine developer. Yeah, I think that's the way to do this, is to create another class. Remember, one of our themes is to code like you're paid by the class. That's a quote I stole from somebody at work. He's watching the show. There you go. Okay, so here we are. How and where and what would I extract? I'd like to extract that because, well, it's talking to user cursor and user input. And I'd like to extract this because, well, it seems like that's a good idea. Well, let's see here. User adds a character or user deletes a character. Those two could be API calls though. So I don't have to extract this line. I might be extracting this user adds and deletes, so it's private. I have a warning here. I wonder if that's still necessary. I don't know. Okay, and then the goal is, then I can just inspect my mask, and I can check if the logic, more internal logic, is correct. Excuse me. I just want you to know, I don't have to do this refactoring. I could keep using the debugger and manually inspect and fix those problems that I'm seeing because they're in there. But then I'm not, and then that overall test will pass eventually, and that could be good enough, except I'm leaving behind a design that if somebody fiddles with it, they're gonna have to go through the same struggle of like, wow, I'm so deep in the code, it's a little hard to test. So let's do the refactoring. Let's do the refactoring. The result will be, we're gonna get this code working the same, which means that one test will still fail. I'm gonna go ignore that test, because when we're refactoring, we don't like to refactor with failing test cases. I know there's only one failing test case. I can say, oh, I'm gonna remember there's only one failing test case. Let's just ignore it for now. Let's see. Yeah, this is execute what you test. Yeah, so you could tweet me here. Go on my Twitter. Oh, I don't. Shit. I try to be a little accessible, folks. On LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. I'll give myself a heart on LinkedIn. Nice job. Do the refactoring. Yes. Do the refactoring. We are with you. We know it will cause more pain in the future. Okay. Just in case, let's see if anybody actually sent me something fresh here. Oh, I shouldn't probably read that. Private tweets online, on stream, live stream. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about there. That's the wrong account. There we are. There we are again. Did you like my graph? Did you like the show cover today? It's a variation of this, but with Mr. Bean behind the mime, like it's gonna eat him. So the mime really wants to get out of that phone. Like, let me out, let me out. Okay, enough fun of that. Oops, I better leave that hanging around just in case somebody says something that I should be paying attention to. Okay, now we're going to do some refactoring. Let's get back into here. That test that's failing, the best way to find it is to run the test. And run the test. Stop. I might rerun it and it doesn't matter. Okay, that's the test. I double tap on it. That takes me to the right spot. Okay, so we're going to ignore this one. Unlike the other tests, though, I want to come back to this. So I'm a little embarrassed. I have so many ignore tests. I have to think about which one I'm going to re-enable. Okay, now all the tests should pass, and then we'll refactor it. I'm just being maximum careful here. I'm trying to show you the best model, which is to have all your test screens so you can do the refactoring and not think about, oh, how many tests am I supposed to have filling? Right? So we have 21 tests passed. Boom, boom, boom. And when we're done, it's going to be easy to add even more tests to make this code even more inspected. All right, we're ready to refactor. Let's do it, baby. And then we're going to probably close the show with those refactoring, and we'll have to fix the functionality later. I'm going to get the guy in the day job to pair with me next week and get him to do it. Actually, maybe I should get him involved in this refactoring because, whoa, folks, hold on here. Maybe I'm working too hard. So the guy in the day job, here, let me come over here a second. Come over here, I got to talk to you. So my job is to coach the guy in the day job to do this. And I do a little bit of this on the show, and I do a little bit more with him, and I do a little bit more on the show, and a little bit more with him. And I should catch him next week and see, because he would learn a lot from this type of refactoring. This is the mess that gets us, this is where the mess gets created and started, and people kind of suffer. Like I've done it. I'm a good TDDer, but I still suffer like writing a little bit complicated code and just put test-driven code. And this code could be simplified so it's easy to test, right? So I'm going to not fix this today on the show. I'm declaring, I am not fixing this on the show. I will not fix this for you. And I'm going to leave this step as a homework for the audience. You can refactor this code. I told you what needs to be done. I will cover it again. See this code? This needs to live in a class by itself. just like we did with masker. We need another little class to stick it in. And at least the user add stuff needs to go into that class too, because you know why? They share the same state. They all share user, they share characters in GUI. They share characters in GUI, but they also share things like I'm looking for it, sorry. User input, or user cursor, I think it is. There it is, user cursor. That's cursor position. They share cursor, user cursor. And I'm going to admit something to you. User cursor is a kind of a weird state to keep around because the API tells me, I'm inventing something in my head that may be a complication. I don't know if I need to express it today. But the API does tell me the cursor position here. And if I just adopted it, instead of tracking it on my own, it's possible we have an extra state we don't need this. Okay, it's possible. It's possible this is extra state. Okay, and the more extra state we have, the more we have to be bothered with it. We have to start adding logic to fiddle with it. And so let's not let that stop us though. So user deletes characters, going to call masker, and it's going to need characters in GUI, which it can pass. And then it's going to use the SSN field access to set selection of text edit. And that happens at the end of user set selection. Takes it to 0. Just do that. Oh, that's my first simple test because I didn't add more deletions. Yeah. That's just a warning to tell me I have to do some more test driving. That's okay. No problem there. So it's going to interact with the interface. Okay, user adds the characters here. It's going to use, I'm just double checking to see if it's rational to put this in a separate class. I think it is. I'm a little bit like annoyed to have to, it has to deal with this other interface again. I kind of thought, well, maybe I don't have to, I could just keep that interface in SSN text watcher, but it looks like it's going to be in that extra class. That's okay. Being annoyed is all right. It's just like I'm spending $1. And I think, wow, I hope it doesn't turn into $10. Spending $1, passing that by dealing with this other interface. And then it's going to move a bunch of code in there with it. It's going to need is insertion point next to dash. I don't know, maybe that'll move with it. Safely pen mask on end. Safely pen mask onto end. I can't predict whether that will move. But yeah, it's going to keep this class small, right? So look at this class, it's 131 lines. That's not giant by any stretch of imagination. That's small for most professional developers, but most professional developers go way too far. So it'll cut this down to maybe 100, maybe 90 or 80. And then we'll have another class that'll be easier to unit test, and it'll be easier to add more functionality. I mean, the other guy, the guy I'm coaching, you would have seen how fun it was when we could go fast and we could add a test and add functionality, add a test and functionality. So when we keep splitting things like that, we can get that, we can achieve that. But when we create bigger classes, it's difficult. And we're at that point. Whenever you're using the debugger, it's a smell, man. Not a good smell. Not like roses. It's a bad smell. So when you use the debugger, you gotta ask yourself, how can I stop from using the debugger? And I think this is the way. All right, so next episode, we will review, hopefully, if my plan, I'm telling you secrets here, bud. I'm gonna go pair with this fella, and then the next show, I don't know, it's right before the holiday. think I'll do it though. We'll see. We'll talk about the results of that and then build on it more. So I need to get him doing a refactoring like this and learning how to do refactoring like this. You're going to say, but what about us? How do we learn? Well, let me share with you a book. I'm going to share with you what I call the Refactoring Bible. Let's watch out, there might be some racy content on that's about ready to come on here. I'm going to cue this up. Bring up my Kindle book. Come on, Kindle. Faster. And 1 moment, and I'll put it on the screen. Oh, no. Come on, get over here. All right, I'm going to page this live on air. So here's the book that I recommend if you're trying to learn refactoring. And learning refactoring, it's like a big topic. But become a professional software engineer, it takes a lot of work. But it's okay. You learn step at a time. You learn your languages. You learn some refactoring, a little refactoring. You learn how to use your refactoring browser. You come on to shows like this. You learn some more things. But this book, if you do a book group on this will give you a big leg up. You know, it talks about what is refactoring. By the way, the book is, sorry, can't click on the cover because the app isn't very good. Amazon. Here we are. Refactoring, improving the design of existing code by Martin Fowler. All right. Sorry, it's hard to read that, but I think you'll figure it out. So here's I'll point out the table of contents that talks about this. All right, bad smells in code. Building unit test, catalog refactoring. Catalog of refactorings. All right, so all right, moving features between objects. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking those features out. I know we're calling that's right. Features is a little large word, but yes, we're moving. We'll call them features. I think that's not really the right word anymore, but into another class. And we're going to use move method a lot, and move field's going to happen. Overall, this is called extract class. From one class, we're going to extract another class. Okay? So if you read these 3 things, you would be able to do what I'm about to do with this fellow. Okay? Or what I was about to do in the show. And the key point is to make it small steps. You can keep running your unit test. Boom, boom, boom. That's what this book will teach you, the technique to do it in small steps. Who cares if you could copy paste and leave the code broken and not be able to run tests for hours until at the very end you think, oh, I'm going to go use the debugger now and I'm going to get this code to work. Wow, I'm working so hard. No, that's not the way at all. You'd move a little bit of it, you run the tests. You move a little bit more of the code and you run the test. So when I showed you those 3 pieces. There's the before text edit, the after text edit, and after text edit has add and delete. I'm going to start with before. I'm going to extract that to the class, and then I'm going to use that class in the before watcher, and I'm going to run the unit test, and they're going to pass. And I'm going to know, oh, I did a good job. And then I'm going to say, well, I'm not done yet. I better go find that other thing I'm going to extract. I'm going to move that out. Boom. And I'm going to, in the after, I'm going to move the add character. And I'm going to run the tests. The code's going to use that new feature in the new class. And I'm going to run the test, and they're going to pass. And I'm going to get positive feedback step by step. This book goes over those little steps. And you're going to think to yourself, oh my God, these are 2 small steps. I know how to do 10 steps. Forget it. You're going to screw it up. We'll always do that. So stop it. You already know how to do it in 10 steps and then use the debugger. Well, screw that. Use a small step. Make it pass quickly and move on to the next. You get feedback every step of the way that you're doing it right. Okay? It's like your personal drill sergeant or your personal trainer who's with you side by side. Not like, oh, I got a training plan. I'm going to go work out for a month and then go check in and see if I did a good job. And then when you check in, the guy says, look, you did your push-ups all wrong. You got to move your hands this wide. You're doing push-ups this wide or this wide. You're doing it wrong. So you're getting feedback month after month of investment. Screw that. Get feedback fast. That's why we have these automated tests. Okay, now a complication is going to happen is when you move a method, you're going to have to move some state with it too. That's why I said these three things. You're going to be extracting class, but you're going to need to move a field. Remember the user input? That's a field. And the user input variable, that's another field. So they're going to have to go over to that other class. And then you're going to have your first class call the second class to get updates from those fields. And that's going to be like weird. You're like, what the heck? I didn't have to do this before. I just conveniently called my private field. I'm sorry, folks, but you're going to migrate it over there. So you're going to add a little bit of middleman work to test it step by step. And you could say, like, but I don't want to do all that middleman work. I'm just going to do 10 steps. I'm telling you, I will bet you $100 you're going to spend more time and use the debugger to get yourself out of a mess because you didn't get enough feedback step by step. And you're going to put a bug in there and you won't know it and you'll be wasting your time later. Okay? So do it like it says in the book. Go extract class. You have one class doing the work that should be done by two. Why do I say that? Because it's hard to test. Create a new class, remove the relevant fields and methods from the old class to the new class. Motivation, da 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 da. Okay? So he will tell you step by step. Mechanics. Decide how to split the responsibility of the class. Create a new class to express the split off responsibility. Okay, and then you make a link. This is what I was talking about, having a middleman from the old class to the new class. Okay, so there it is in a nutshell. I've just coached you, the audience, on how to do this on your own, and I didn't show you. But we talked about it a lot. And then I'm going to do this on my day job. I'm going to get the other fella to do it by coaching him. All right, folks, that is a TDD Academy. And I am trying to change my camera angle. There it is, awkward. All right, that is TDD Academy. And I hope you got some value for today. And I'm still looking. There it is. Solopreneur David, anything from you? Read the refactoring book, Luke. Read the refactoring book. Yes, don't be like Luke when he didn't listen to Yoda and he went into the cave and then he used his lightsaber. Set him back. Okay, folks. I'm Xing out.